So to introduce Sam, just a quick introduction here. Sam Maul is a consultant with Carlyle and Gallagher. He's a 20-plus year veteran of the payments industry and a self-proclaimed payments geek. He's also a former TSYS employee, so we're excited to have him here. And what better perspective to give on the industry than someone who knows what happens inside of TSYS as well as what's going on outside of TSYS. Also near and dear to my heart, he's a huge English Premier Soccer League fan. Arsenal is his team, so yes. If any of you guys are into soccer. Also, I told Sam I was going to get him some new Twitter followers today, so please hop onto Twitter and follow him at Sam Maul. So without further ado, Sam Maul. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks. Y'all started drinking early. There's a guy here who's wearing some pants, the golf pants. Where are you at? Orange shirt. Oh my God, you're my hero. That is, TSYS's dress code has changed since I left. Those are spectacular. I'm going to get like a onesie or something made of that. I love that thing. All right, so let's jump right into this thing. In 2006, the spring of 2006, my wife and I were at Hartsfield International Airport, Terminal E. We were there with my 3-year-old daughter, my 6-month-old son. I am not joking, 12 pieces of luggage, diaper bag, stroller. So we were getting ready to leave the U.S. to begin an expat tour working for TSYS to go over to York for about the next 5 years. Those are 12 bags of luggage, folks. That's very important to note that. So we were getting ready to fly. We jumped on a plane, flew all the way over to Manchester, England to start about a 5-year stint over there. When we got to Manchester, I took my wife, my 3-year-old daughter, my 6-month-old son, 12 pieces of luggage, a baby bag, a stroller, through the airport at Manchester International Airport. Don't know how we did it. People were staring at us. I was the prototypical American, Kardashian-looking dude. And we had to take a train. The train station pulls right up next to the airport, Manchester. I loaded all that stuff onto the train, 2-hour train ride to York. When we got to York, finally got to the rental car that I had waiting for us to take us to our home 11 miles away. This is where all hell broke loose, in all honesty. This is where it fell apart. Because as I stood there with all that stuff, and if you've ever flown with kids, a 6-month-old, 3-year-old, for 10 hours, that's why God invented alcohol and Valium and Benadryl and drugs. Anyways, when we got there, that's the car that was waiting for us. Y'all get the joke. That's good. That's a Nissan Micra, aptly named. It's probably illegal in the U.S. 1.5 cylinder, maybe. Really, that's what was waiting for me. And so we're all sitting at the train station after that incredibly long day of travel, and we saw this car, and everybody decided to let me know what they thought, my wife included. And to escape the noise, I was calm, cool and collected, all honesty. I got into the car to escape the madness, and once I sat in the car, this is what happened. I repeatedly shouted this word out over and over and over and over again. There are 5 letters in that word, folks, not 4. There's an F in there. And let me explain why. As I sat in what I thought was the driver's seat, I noticed the steering wheel had shifted to that side of the car. I looked down, the accelerator, the brakes, other side of the car. And to my horror, yeah, that thing, the stick shift. And by the way, the clutch is on that side too, all right? Everything the other side, 12 bags of luggage, all of that. And I learned a life lesson then. Shift happens. Whether or not you plan for it, regardless of your plans. I had that car rented like 4 months before. I was ready. We had found the house. Everything was planned. I'm a planner. I had a spreadsheet. Everything was great. Shift happens, big time. Whether you plan for it or not, whether you're engaged or not, and a lot of it is outside of your control. And never has that been more true than in the industry we're in. In payments, in the relationship between consumers and merchants, man, you guys know this, we are seeing shift like crazy. That's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit. So I'm going to go to somebody wiser than me. That's Paul Volcker, if you're familiar with him. He was the chairman of the Fed before Greenspan. So under Carter and Reagan, so under a Democrat and a Republican, he was chairman of the Fed. Has done a lot of work under President Obama. The Volcker Rule, if you've ever heard of that, that's that guy. So he knows payments, he knows banking, he knows transactions. And in 2009, the Wall Street Journal invited him to come speak in London, England. Y'all remember 2009? Good times, right? Good times. They brought him in to talk about the crisis and everything that was going on. And they asked him the question. They said, Mr. Volcker, what do you see as the big steps in innovation that banking has taken over the past 20 years? So from 1989 to 2009, most of our career in here, a lot of us. ATM. Feel better about yourself? ATM. The chairman of the Fed came up with the ATM. Yeah, it's depressing. ATM, really? Take into context the rest of what he said, though. That's what's important. It's consumer-facing. It's a product that solved a need. It wasn't built around the bank as much, even though it provides a lot of lift, but it's something that is consumer-centric. And man, I know you guys are seeing that in the products that you're generating right now and what you're seeing in the industry. So as my screen goes blank, I love that. What he actually, whoa, there he goes. What's interesting, you take a look at what's happened in innovation over the past couple of years. I'd kind of agree with Paul Volcker. We kind of went through a dead spell. We really did. But you look at all the innovation that's taken place, look at that crunch and where we're at right now. The pace of change is accelerating in what we do, especially in payments. And that's my space. That's where I spend a lot of my time. So what's interesting now is folks are actually noting this. Fred Wilson, he's a venture capitalist. He's one of those guys who got a lot of money and writes checks, head of Union Ventures, the guy that was the money behind Twitter, Tumblr, and a bunch of other companies. In January, this is a quote from January 2014. I'm not pulling this out from 5 years ago. Financial services ripe for disruption. You want to know where he's spending his money? What we do. He sees it. So Brad Leimer, a good friend of mine, he's a banker for Mechanics Bank. If you're into fintech, so financial technology, Brad's like a guru to follow. And back in January, he goes, good Lord, there's 910 payment startup companies out there. At 3 in the morning, I have insomnia, by the way. At 3 in the morning, I went out to Angels List. 1,099 payment startups out there right now looking for capital. Almost two, I bet if you go out now, it's 2,000. I bet it ticked over. 2,000 payment startups are out there right now. All it takes is for one of them to be a success. All it takes is a Square. All it takes is a Dawala. It takes one or two to disrupt everything. So people are seeing this as primed, this space. So 3 things I want to talk about that tie back to that. We're talking about shift, all right? All of that technology, everything we're seeing take place is creating a shift storm, and we're living through it right now. And if I slip up and say the other word, just play along. But that's what we're seeing right now is a massive shift storm. And what's driving that shift storm? That guy. Somewhere up in heaven, he's smiling down. So, I know we just got all back for lunch, but let's go ahead and do this for me. Everybody stand up for a second. It's a good experiment. All right. For all of you in the room, I'm assuming every single person has a smartphone. If you don't, come see me. I'll give you a coupon. Anyone who doesn't have an iPhone device, so you're an Android person or HTC, take your pick. Grab a seat. Apple people, stay standing up. Wow. There you go. Apple. Oh, Steve Jobs is really smiling right now. My people. Yeah, me too. I love me some Apple. Go ahead and grab a seat. Change the world, all right? MSNBC just did a poll. Past 25 years, said who's the most influential person in history over the past 25 years? Him is who they picked. Steve Jobs. So, here's my question. iPhone, when? What year? Anybody? 06. The year I was standing to go in the plane, good guess. The year I was standing in the airport to fly is when the iPhone came out. iPhone's the same age as my kid, my son, my youngest son. What about the iPad? 2010, good guess. 4 years. It's only 4 years old. Doesn't it seem like it's always been around? It has to me. I don't remember life without an iPad. But that's the world that we live in right now, and trust me, shift got real. Why? It's easy. That idea of, I don't have to know F keys, F6, F3, F2, all control delete. Toss all that nonsense out. I pinch, I grab, I pull. Kids know how to use it intuitively. My in-laws can use it intuitively. It addresses every age bracket. They actually got a problem now in daycare, if you didn't know it. Kids don't know how to build with Legos. A whole study came out because you can't pinch, pull, or swipe them. We've got to be better parents, folks. Me included. But I mean, good Lord, you talk about technology changing how we operate. The head of product for Visa was quoted as saying, any product we design is designed for the flick. That is a great quote. Visa gets it. The industry gets it right now. Mobile is driving a ton of change. First quarter this year, Bank of America talking about its profits. And this little quote was in there, and I love this. This is from the CEO talking about it. 10% of our deposits come through mobile devices. That's huge. Bank of America, that is huge. 10% of deposits. Now, what's mobile? Is an iPad mobile? I don't know. We'll sit here and argue over definitions, but I can tell you this much. That's something like a 4% cost savings for the bank. That's disruption. If you really want to build a business case, let me help you out. This is mobile payments in the U.S. 2012 to 2017, 48% compounded annual growth rate percentage for mobile payments, U.S. only. Easy business case, right? There's going to be a ton of volume that takes place there. So with all of that going on, you can understand why digital wallets, mobile wallets, is such a hot topic. It is a crowded space, to say the least. I know you guys are up there, your competitors are First Data and others. There are a ton. Google, non-banking entities that are playing now in this space with this. So we looked at that growth for payments. We know how prolific mobile phones are. More mobile phones than toothbrushes in the world. Take your pick. I could throw out a million stats around phones. It's massive, that space. So it bears to reason then that mobile payments and mobile wallets are huge, right? Massive. If you didn't know, 2013 was the year of the mobile wallet. However, somebody forgot to tell consumers, because that has been the reaction. And I love Minions, because they're cool. I watch that all day. You introduce a mobile wallet, go away. Introduce a mobile wallet, go away. So, I said that. There they are, a plethora of them sitting out there. So, all of us are in the payment space. All of us work in retail, if you will, with consumers and merchants. So, please stand up if you got a mobile wallet in your phone. Anybody good at math? Want to do that little survey? All right. If it's not a Starbucks app, sit down. Starbucks doesn't count. But the one wallet that's killing it right now. All right, if you didn't know, thank you. Grab a seat. That says a lot, by the way. We're in this space. This is what we do. And anybody notice the low percentage of people that stood up? Even in this room, smack. It's happening. Even in a room of people in the industry. That's the reality. It's rather interesting, right? You would think with all the ease everything is introducing, this would be huge. The Fed just came out with a study this month. Love these numbers. Shocked me. I haven't carried cash since I left England. And I'm not kidding. I have not carried cash. I don't have cash. I forgot what it feels like to have cash. Everything I do is credit. Everything I do is on my phone. I'm that geek. 40% of transactions are cash. You've got to be kidding me. I'm shocked. Absolutely shocked. Now, the value of those payments is incredibly low when you look at that. Which shocks me even more, because to me that makes all the more sense, right? Mobile payments, P2P, I want to make it simple. I don't want to have to carry cash. I just want to push a button. I want to tap a phone. I want to send it easily to my friends. Yet that's what we're dealing with. Consumers aren't listening to you right now. The year of the mobile wallet was 2013. Cross that out. It was 2012. It was 2011. It was 2010. I can go back and pull article after article after article as the experts, like me, supposedly, are going in and predicting what will be the big thing for the next year. And we all keep saying mobile wallets, and we all keep being wrong. What I will tell you is it is coming, but change is tough, and change is hard, despite the fact we got mobile wallets everywhere. Because we're a heads-down society. I'm sitting up here right now, and I'm seeing a lot of heads down, because I know you're hungover, you're checking scores, whatever. But actually, this is what's funny. When you're a public speaker, nowadays, you actually like heads down, because typically that means somebody's tweeting about you or looking up a fact that you're saying. You can get fact-checked right away. It's kind of hard to BS your way through speaking now, by the way, because you could be held accountable by the folks out there. I love that, personally, because I've watched people just call people up on it, so you're just making up a number. So I find this fascinating. Heads down society. I got 4 kids. And a grandkid, shoot. I've got everywhere from a 20-year-old in college all the way down to an 8-year-old son. And all of them got slump shoulders because they look like that. Every single one of them. So you look at that, and it's interesting that the mobile payments and the adoption just hasn't taken off like we thought it would. I mean, 11%. is what Forrester came up with. That is a low, low number. I'm surprised by that. And the percentage of transactions in the U.S., incredibly small, yet 91% of folks with a phone have it next to them 100% of the time. So another survey. How many of you, the last thing you do before you go to bed is roll over, look at your spouse, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your cat, or your dog, whatever, and tell them, I love you and good night? Or, how many of you are me, and the last thing you do is turn your phone off? You don't have to answer, because that's depressing. How many of you, the first thing you do when you wake up isn't roll over and kiss your husband, your wife, your dog, cat, whatever, but you grab your phone? Yeah, me too. Okay? I love this thing. I really do. I got the silver one, if you haven't seen it. Absolutely love my phone. My dog gets ticked at me. My dog comes next to bed and just stares at me like I'm the biggest loser because I grabbed this thing and not fed her. Drives her absolutely nuts. But that's the reality. Again, that's where we live. A great quote when you look at this. We're solving a problem, right? We have a solution out there, yet we can't convince anybody to use it. PayPal recognizes that, right? PayPal's designing everything around the wallet solution, yet no one's asking for it. I keep arguing with my wife, which is quite normal, that she does all the finances at our house, she does everything, and I keep telling her, you really need a wallet. I keep giving her suggestions, and she keeps telling me to go to hell because I can't give her a business case that makes sense. And she's right, and I'm wrong. And the second my wife adopts it, I'm buying some stock in something. I'm telling you right now, whoever cracks that nut, I'm after it. I will run after that. I hope you guys do. But it's tough. Yet, it hasn't stopped an aggressive move into mobile payments. This is your all's magazine, Ingenuity. 73 new companies in the first quarter focused on mobile payments. So there's some massive push going on. We see it. It's huge. It's being recognized, and more people are getting into it. But we have yet to take off. So let's do a little case study. ISIS. Client of yours, and at CG, a client of ours too. We worked on the ISIS wallet. So the consulting firm I work for, we do financial services consulting with the big banks, only the big banks. So not surprising, this would be one of our clients. Anybody know how long this was in beta? 2 years. Anybody know how long 2 years is in the world we live in now? Do your dog ear thing. Yeah, forget it, right? 2 years. We were in this too. We billed for 2 years. 2 years. Salt Lake City and Austin, perfecting this, and I get it. It rolled out nationally, I think it was July 31st last year, is when it hit the news cycle. We're going national, we're rolling it out. An interesting thing happened on that day. The same day that it rolled out, a product called Coin rolled out. Coin went and hit the news wires, and the news wires went spastic. They fell in love with this product. And by the way, a conceptual product, not something that was out in the marketplace. They were on Kickstarter raising funds for this thing. The same day as ISIS, who had 2 years behind them and a proven model and was in stores, Coin, which was, I don't want to call it a pipe dream, but it was theoretical, stole all the press. It was huge. The press loved it, and ISIS got buried in the news cycle. So what's Coin? Coin is me attempting to run a video off this. Get really scared. I'll let these guys talk to it.
I'm here to tell you about Coin. It solves a problem I think most of us have. See, my wallet is filled with cards. Credit cards, debit cards, rewards cards, gift cards, filled with them. Too many. This is a Coin. It's a simple card just like a regular payment card. You can swipe it just like any other card. The difference between a Coin and any other card? All these cards are inside my Coin, and I can pay for stuff with any of them. I'm going to use the personal card for this. My Coin has all the same data and acts just like my debit card would when I swipe it. This is a business lunch, so I'm going to expense it on the business card. I just tap this button to select the right card, and that's it. How do I get my cards in my Coin, you're asking? It's a fair question. I use this thing and the Coin app to swipe them in. Take a picture, so I know which one it is. And that's it. Oh, security. This is cool too. Let's say you pay with your coin, you've got a lot on your mind, you leave your coin behind, like a dummy. See that? The coin uses a low-power Bluetooth signal that knows when your phone is near and when it's not. In this card, all your cards. You can add as many as you want and it stays the same size. And all you ever need is one. One coin for all your cards.
Press went nuts. They came out with a concept of this. Within, I think it was a couple of hours, $50,000 raised, just like that. All their pre-orders that they wanted, just like that. Because it's interesting, think about that. This solution, I'm not trying to convince my wife to use her mobile phone. I'm saying keep using a credit card, but just one, and load everything else on it. She got that. That concept resonates with folks. They get it. And what's interesting, they took all that technology and put it on, okay, you are cards people, I can't remember how thick this is. Very thin. Bluetooth is on there, MagStripe, everything works fine. And it's tied to your mobile device too. Pretty neat, they tied all of it together. It sounds like a pipe dream. 2 days ago at TechCrunch in New York, they demoed it. You can go online or look me up on Twitter, there's a link for it. They demoed it, worked great, not a problem. Synced up multiple cards. So far, so good. This and a press cycle is tearing it up still because they changed the form factor a little bit. They said, what works easily for people? They like their mobile phones. People are fine swiping a card. Absolutely fine swiping a card. So screw it. Let's blend the two together. Let's take what's the old practice, not have to change anything. I don't have to change any point of sale device. It works. That's pretty smart. And that's the type of change that's coming out there. Then you get folks like me and others who try to rip this to shreds and say, well, what about EMV? What about chip and pin? What about all these others? But still, today, this works fine. That device works fine. It's a pretty interesting concept that they went through. But here's what I find interesting. So this got all the news cycle, by the way, tore it up, and it's still getting good play in the news. But here's the problem. Y'all remember this movie, Up? I love this. The squirrel effect. Consumer